Welcome everybody to the last Leopard Spotlight of the year. I'm Grant Dennis.
And I'm Bradley Davis.
In this edition, we'll take you on a tour of Senior Eli Ruhala's room.
We'll drop in with a skateboard enthusiast.
And finally, in our In the Club segment, we'll get our groove on with an elite group of musicians.
But first, we'll ride alongside a senior who takes archery to the next level. Shivani and Andrew take aim at our next story.
Senior Sierra Stammen is a part of the equestrian drill team, the Woodhaven Wranglers. But after her horse Nike was injured, she decided to explore other options to keep him active.
So I started doing mounted archery back in last November. I came to a clinic out here over Thanksgiving. So my horse Nike, he actually bowed his tendon back in the fall of 2016. And because of that, he could no longer do equestrian drill team. So I started looking for new things to do with him, and I had always been interested in shooting off horseback. It's something I'd looked into before, but never really found anything for. And we found a clinic that was being hosted out here last November, and I decided to try it on him. I fell in love with it, and he did great with it, and it's just kept going from there. It has been a very influential part of my life. A lot happened after my horse bowed his tendon, and this was a big piece of hope. He spent 8 months in a stall, and this was the one thing that I said, he can do this. He can keep doing this. When I found out he couldn't do equestrian drill team anymore, it was really hard. He couldn't do barrels anymore. It was really, really hard for me to handle that. And this really pushed me to get him better and to get him to the point where he could do this.
According to her mother, mounted archery has been more than just a sport for Sierra.
It's molded her in a way because she's been riding since she was 5, and I can't imagine Sierra without horses. I think it's taught her to be more in tune with feelings because the horses kind of reflect your own feelings back to you. I think it's taught her to be more aware of other people and surroundings. I think the horses have kind of made her who she is, and it's been her passion. And we've tried the best we could to support her passion.
Though Sierra began competing in mounted archery as an alternative for Nike, she has grown to love it.
Mounted archery is something I can do for the rest of my life. So it's something that I have found long-term passion for and reminded me of why I really love riding, because there's so much in the world that I can do with it. And this is just something new and exciting that's growing in the world and is just now becoming very well known. So it reminds me of why I love doing what I'm doing. I love the whole aspect of training a horse to be able to do something like that, something people come up to me and say, you do that? You do mounted archery? And to be able to say, yeah, I do, and my horses love it. It's really cool to see that, and it just reminds me more of why I love riding horses and why I want to do it for the rest of my life.
This is Shivani Radhakrishnan and Andrew Khalil reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
Works of art often contain deeper meanings beyond what's obvious on the surface, and Senior Eli Ruhala is taking his art to a whole new dimension. Bradley and Hayden show us more.
More than just a creative hobby, Senior Eli Ruhala uses art to communicate his life story with an approach that most would not expect.
Art has always allowed me to express myself because it was kind of this language that I've always spoken fluently, if that makes sense, just like Spanish or some sort of foreign language, but I found it surprisingly easy to pick up on. My interest in 3D art and installation was spurred from 2D work being too limiting in the sense that I wasn't engaging the viewer was looking. It was kind of voyeuristic. People look at a painting and they think it's off limits.
Eli's first attempt at 3D artwork has led him to the unique project that utilizes the skills of both construction and interior decorating.
For my most recent installation, I have built multiple stud walls and I've gotten so many sheets of drywall, and basically what I've done is I've done these studies from old family photographs on the sheets of drywall, and I've destroyed them and patched up the stud walls so that it's impartially walled in. Also for the installation, I have multiple elements that are domestic surfaces, such as furniture, or I painted a door even, I painted a mattress, a blanket, pillows. I really wanted to push that idea of a painting and what it could mean.
The quality of an artwork can be subject to debate. However, Eli has one fan support who will never waver.
We are thrilled to see Eli move past all of these hurtful feelings that we weren't even really aware of. One part of that installation, I'm really moved by the window that goes up and down. That Eli can think out of the box. Like, I'm an artist, but Eli blows everything away that I've ever even thought of doing. So he has love in every single piece. And I think that's what I'm most moved with, is the love that's in his heart. And it's really hard to explain because I'm the mother. So I'm the most proud, and I expect to be the most proud of Eli, but everybody's going to see it at this art show. The love in Eli's heart.
Though many pieces of artwork come with a do not touch sign, Eli wants viewers to have a more interactive experience with his newest installation.
The idea with the installation is that people will be scared, and then other people will be more interested in the content, more interested in the story behind it. And so those kinds of people will be willing to interact with the work. They'll be more fearless than those who are just worried about the aesthetic of the work.
The entire room holds a glimpse into Eli's personal life. However, one space holds more emotions than the rest.
The closet space was this kind of idea where I have me in the center in the closet, and then my parents on either side, almost as these sort of like guardian figures, you know, but it was kind of a negative connotation because it was about how these guardian figures were kind of keeping me from, I guess, embracing and talking about my sexuality to my friends and family. It goes back to that idea of how their divorce kind of created this sort of hesitation for me to open up to people. But then the rest of the work, you see this shift where I'm actually really talking about, you know, how grateful I am for my parents and how I just embrace the fact that they have differences and that I love them regardless.
This is Hayden McKenzie and Bradley Davis reporting for the Lovejoy News Network. Skateboarding is marked by a distinctive style, culture, and even its own vocabulary. One junior is working to spread his passion for the sport. Grayson and Fallon have the story.
For decades, stereotypes of skateboarders have existed. Dropouts, drug users, juvenile delinquents. Junior Caleb Weaver has heard them all.
I don't do any of that. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I have a great relationship with my parents. I make pretty decent grades. I try in school for the most part. I have a lot of friends. Honestly, generally, I live a pretty decent, normal life. In a way, I guess would best be put in how I'm the same is, I guess, to skateboard, you have to have a degree of just, you don't care. Because when it comes down to skateboarding, you have to be confident about it. You have to be confident in yourself. And I think, so in that likeness, I think myself and all skateboarders are the same in the fact that we will look at something and we'll go, that's cool, and then we'll just go for it. I'd say when it comes to skateboarding, my favorite thing to do is just that feeling when you drop into the bowl. It's one thing to walk around with a board. It's one thing to be popping ollies and kick flips and things like that. But it's something different when you push your board to the edge of, say, like a 6-7 foot drop, and the only thing separating you from the ground and the ledge you're on is your foot. Because the second you put your foot on that board and you push in and you fall into that bowl, you have to commit. But when you commit, you're gliding through the air. And it's just something completely different because you go from horizontal, just riding it, to completely vertical in just a couple seconds. And you just have to commit, you just have to feel it. And that is the best thing because it's you feel like in that moment you have a purpose, you have a goal, and you're going for it. Me and my dad collectively own over 50 skateboards. And that includes longboards. And that includes the longboards that we've made. Now, the process of creating a longboard, or a skateboard just in general, is to keep it brief.
First, order several pieces of veneer. Layer them and combine them with wood glue. You can use a metal press or a mesh bag press for compressed air to seal the pieces of veneer. Put the wood in the bag or the mold. Use any variation you want for the pressure. Wait 8 to 12 hours until you have one large piece of wood. Then, sand it down. Now, you can move on to designing. Add trucks, wheels, and grip tape. Then you are ready to ride. In addition to riding and making skateboards, Caleb wants to spread his love for the sport with others. He founded the Skater Die Club this year, giving people of all skill levels the chance to experience skateboarding each Sunday from 3 to 5:30 p.m. at the Allen Skate Park.
So I decided it'd be really smart to set up a website. The website you can actually get to by taking a picture of the posters or flyers around school with Snapchat, and it'll take you straight to the website. And on the website you can find meeting details, you can find frequently asked questions, like what should I bring, like can I bring a friend, will there be people at the park, will I get hurt, things like that. There's a whole lot on there. But I just tried to make this website so it's all there for beginners and people who are interested in skateboarding.
This is Grayson Knight and Fallon Brothers reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We close our show with this week's In the Club feature. Parker and Lee swing us over to the ensemble room, where some of Lovejoy's most talented musicians jam out.
The students of the Lovejoy Jazz Band have experienced interwoven melodies and friendships.
The relationship between people, in the jazz band versus the regular band, I think is a little bit more close. We're less, because in the concert band there's a lot more people and there's a lot less, where we intertwine and connect ideas, but in jazz band it's more like, we're kind of chilling. And whenever I came in my freshman year, it just really spoke to me as like something that I really wanted to do with, the rest of my high school career and possibly, for the rest of my life, so.
The jazz band gives elite student musicians a chance to showcase their skills.
Best part of jazz band for me is playing lead trumpet, because it's kind of like the melody kind of in every song, and so it's also the high part, so I kind of get to be loud and be heard all the time. Jazz band is like a completely different setting. It only has saxophones, trombones, and trumpets compared to like a full band, a full orchestra.
Their instructor, Nathan Lewis, who has been teaching music since 2009, has seen tremendous growth in the ability of his students.
So jazz band's a little bit different than a regular band in that it's a different style. We take a little bit different approach as far as balance and blend, but for the most part, we're still teaching the students how to play with great sounds and also how to match and play as a section within a larger group. So the growth that we see with the jazz band specifically is kind of unique compared to the growth we see with regular band classes and the concert band, marching band. The jazz band is considered kind of an elite group. It's usually upperclassmen, so it's usually not sophomores and freshmen, but occasionally we will have some sophomores and freshmen as a part of the group. So really what we're doing is we're pushing the top end of our band kids.
This is Parker Nolan and Lee Kennebrew reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We hope you enjoyed these stories. Thank you to all of the students, teachers, and community members who have allowed us to tell their stories this year. And thank you guys for watching. The Lovejoy News Network will be back in the fall with more Leopard Spotlights, but until then, I'm Grant Dennis.
And I'm Bradley Davis.
And remember, if there's a story to find,
we'll find it here on Leopard Spotlight.